Hey everyone, welcome to Pathways and Possibilities. I have a little show and tell for you today. I actually did an unboxing of this tarot deck. However, considering I didn't get time to read the little white book, I found that the deck reveal became a little bit complex and complicated, in fact, simply because of my lack of knowledge. So I decided to scrap it and read the little white book, and it certainly has helped me a great deal. So what I'm about to introduce you to is the Tarot of Ceremonial Magick. It's by Milo Duquette, and it's published by Thalesis Aura or Thalesis Aura. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name. Here is the box. And you might see, even at this very early stage, the artwork, I think for most people, will leave quite a lot to be desired. I certainly didn't purchase this deck for the artwork. There are so many beautiful decks that one can use if you just want to dive into the images and allow your intuition to take a hold. This one is just for completely different purposes. It is about magic and invocations. So it's the symbols, the symbology, should I say, that drew me to this deck. And also I'm just interested in magic and learning more about it. And this deck is really quite interesting because it encompasses the Kabbalah, astrology, magic, and of course traditional tarot. So there's the little white book. And look, there's not a great deal of information on the cards themselves. However, there is enough information in the front of the book to give you a really decent idea how the deck works. I mean, obviously there's a lot of study to do, but I was quite impressed with the amount that they were able to share just in a few pages. When I say a few pages, all up we're looking at, well, 39 pages. But when you get to the actual cards themselves, the explanations are very, very minimal. Having said all that, there is a book that goes along with this deck, and I did not realize at the time that that book doesn't come with the deck when you order it. So it's completely separate. I have ordered a copy of the book depository. It's on its way, but I thought, look, it's going to be quite a while before I get through the book, so I may as well at least introduce you to the pack. So, getting back to the fundamentals. The Tarot of Ceremonial Magick, he says in the beginning of the book that it demands discipline, study, practice, perseverance, and even tenacity. And he goes on to talk about the yogi. You know, the yogi needs to withdraw from the objective outside world in order to access the subjective internal reality, whereas the magician endeavors to access this internal reality by projecting it into the outside world and dealing objectively with its mysteries, which I thought was really interesting. So he goes on to say that tarot is the most perfect representation of the Kabbalistic fundamentals and is the most common denominator between all of the various Hermetic arts. So, you know, he's saying even palmistry, magic, astrology, and tarot. So, like most decks, we have 22 trump cards. So first of all, I'll show you a little glimpse into this world. Again, I'm not that keen. I'm just talking at this time the artwork itself. Obviously that's the magician. It is interesting how we'll see, say, the lovers here has a bit of an Egyptian flavour. As does the moon. Then when we get down to the tower, there's a Hindu flavour there in the artwork. So I'm looking forward to getting the book so I can read up properly where all this comes from. The devil, speaking of ceremonial magic, it does have that look, a little bit demonic there. So again, it'll be interesting to see the difference between his interpretation of the devil, or, you know, how it is to be used in this deck, as opposed to, say, the standard, if you want to call it that, Rider-Waite deck. The Sun, you know, yeah, not that great. What else? There are a couple that I had to laugh, to be totally honest with you. I mean, the Hierophant, as an example, is one of my favourite cards, and this leaves me dry. Looks like Will Ferrell in costume. And my most unfavourite, the Empress. As soon as I saw this image, I thought of a young Margaret Thatcher. Oh, it's a bit of a killer considering how beautiful the Empress is. Anywho, there's a lot more to this deck than that, but as you can see, artwork, you wouldn't buy this deck for the artwork. The Death, I don't know whether to laugh or cry when I see that. When death comes to mow you down, that's exactly what's going to happen. But again, please keep in mind I haven't read up on them yet. This is not great artwork, but I love the message here with the Hermit card, another favourite of mine. But you can see that he is encompassing the whole theme that was described in the beginning of the Little White Book, to shut the outside world out. And he's just concentrating there on what I presume that is a Tatwa meditation symbol. So in order to really get to the bottom of it, that's what one needs to do. I do like this little message here, in that the Magician card. Okay, what have I done with it? Da, 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 da. Just talk amongst yourselves. I've gone blind. Sorry, guys and gals. What on earth have I done with the Magician card? Will I have to pause? Oh, it's right in front of me. Oh my goodness. The Magician card, you can see he has a tablet in front of him, and then we go through the Fool's Journey and arrive at the Judgment card. Your last chance, your final call, time to move on, accept the consequences for your journey thus far. And, you know, it features the tablet itself. Your final look to reassess before the World card sets in. And just before I move on to the next little category, I'll just show you a little bit here. The elements play quite a role in this deck, and so you'll see here that these 4 cards represent here water, air, earth, and fire. So that's what those are about. The rest of the major arcana, amongst other things that we'll get to, you can see here we have the glyph for the Sun, Mercury, Gemini, Pisces, just to name a few. And on the other side is letters from the Hebrew alphabet. So all all planets are included, as well as all sun signs. In the book, he goes on to say, the tarot is the DNA of the Kabbalah. Properly decoded, it reveals not only the secrets of the Kabbalah, but also the mysteries of other Kabbalah-based systems. In other words, by learning tarot properly, you simultaneously master the fundamentals of Kabbalah, astrology, and ceremonial magic. So in it we have, with the 22 trumps, there are 3 mother letters. We're talking about the Kabbalistic alphabet here. There are 7 double letters. There are 12 simple letters. And the 4 elements, 7 planets, and the 12 signs of the zodiac. So if we look closely at, say, just one card here, on the bottom here, there are two houses. One is called the House of Mercury, and the other one is called the Prison of Shells. It has a very official name. It's like Carsorum Clyphot, I think it's pronounced. Carsorum Clyphot, the Prison of Shells. So these are actually the magical seals of the spirit. So the left side, the House of Mercury, is Domarum, and the right side is Carcerorum Clyphot. I'm so sorry. I think I'm just like murdering that, but that's the best I can do at the moment. And so again, you invoke the genies, which I think is really interesting because that actually looks like a little genie. What do you call them? Like, you know, you rub the genie. It's not a bottle. Anyhow, I dream of genie. So that's, yeah, you're supposed to invoke these spirits, which are here to serve as guides, counselors, and agents of the forces. And I did read, I can't remember if it was on the internet or in the book, but I thought it was very interesting because when you look at, if you Google terms like Goetia, you know, they use Goetic symbols here. There's a lot of talk about, you know, dark magic, dark forces, demons, all the yucky stuff. And I certainly did not buy this pack for that. But what I found interesting is when I read, so that's what all this area here on the bottom of the cards are dealing with, by the way. And what he says is those guides, they can be angels, they can be demons, you know, they can be dark and light. They are all aspects of yourself. And you are the magician. You're the person that's calling them in order to deal with them, to turn the dark into the light. You must acknowledge that part of yourself and do something, you know, creative with it in order to balance out those forces. Some of those forces may need to be harnessed, and it's up to you to do so. And I found that very, very interesting indeed. So I just got to take a quick sip. So that's in a nutshell, of course, the mages. So I'm just going to move them aside. Now, the aces I have here. Hopefully you can see them okay. So the aces are the roots of their respective elements, not the manifested elements themselves. So he says they are above and quite apart from the other minor cards. They are representative of the 4 elemental tablets of the Enochian magic. So as you can see here, each card, there it is there, has the elemental tablet, the fire, earth, air, water aspect. It's the whole entire tablet, which consists of 156 squares, and letters are inscribed, and they make up the names of various angelic beings who obviously you can call upon. So I just find that it's so fascinating to me. I'm really looking forward to learning more about this. So down the bottom here, this is the Tatua meditation symbol. And apparently this philosophy of meditation came out of the Hindu religion. So I thought it was interesting that that other card, the tower, has like a Hindu flavour in the artwork. So it does go way, way, way back. That's where it grew from. And on the other side here is the ruling square from the Tablet of Union. In the middle is the Enochian seal of the element. There are a number of seals on here, and there's a process when we get to the other cards that you use to obviously lift the seal and call upon the angels and spirits. So there are the aces. So they are a part of the minor. However, they have their kind of separate, I'll just show them one by one. They have their separate little, I don't know, grouping, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure of the right word there. So they are minor arcana, but they sort of stand alone in certain aspects. So they're linked to the court cards, in fact, which I'll get to, with regards to the Enochian tablet. So it's the whole tablet here. And then when we get to the card, and I don't mind the artwork too much on these, that's okay. The court cards, that's what you're probably going to find a little bit disturbing. So when we get to the court cards, we have Knight, Queen, Prince, and Princess. Sorry about my throat. So what they are is the Knight is the fire aspect of their suit. The Queen is the water aspect of their suit. The Prince is the air aspect of their suit. And the Princess is the earth aspect of their suit. So in other words, the Knight of Wands is the fiery aspect of fire. The Queen of Discs is the watery aspect of earth. The Princess of Cups is the earthy aspect of water. Now, it sounds really complex. I actually watched a lecture on YouTube some time ago, and that's how he was using the court cards. And I was like, oh, what? Give me a break. But I think once you have a deck with this philosophy, you can lay the cards out and just sit quietly with yourself, and it'll all begin to gel. You can see, first of all, not the grooviest artwork. Yeah. And you are not seeing things. We have a generic image, and it's just been coloured in to represent the different elements. You know, I mean, dare I say, totally uncool. And it's the same as we go through the court card system. But again, this deck is, I think, designed for... could you say bigger and better things, other things? It depends also on your, personal tastes. But for me, I think, yeah, don't buy it for that. Buy it for this and this and this. That's what this deck is about. And I think it's going to be very powerful once I, harness all the information that I need to learn. So if we get back to the court cards for a moment, the 4 large tablets representing fire, earth, air, water, you can see the whole lot again is represented by the ace. Then it's broken down into like a subsection down here in the court cards. So there's a parallel between the aces and the court cards. The court cards tablets are the 16 subsections of the aces. So if you look at one, let's put a nice bright colour. If you take a look here at this court card, hopefully this camera will focus. At the very top, you have the I always do that. It's I Ching, the I Ching symbol. On the other side here, we have some astrological information. It's astrology by degree and also by date. So as an example, the Princess of Wands rules Cancer, Leo and Virgo. And she sits a quadrant above the North Node. If you know anything about astrology, you'll understand there's a North and South Node. The North Node is like an area of life or a gift or a practice that you are here to embrace. It's something new. It's something where you are inexperienced. The South Node lies exactly opposite the North Node in the chart, and that's your gifts that you bring into this life from before. And it's wonderful and you can use them. However, the idea is we don't want to just rest comfortably in the familiar. The idea is to move towards the North Node, the unfamiliar, but that's how we grow as a soul. So this one here, that's the Princess. The Knight, I'll just show you another one there, just so you don't get too bogged down. This Knight that I have in my hand, the Knight of Discs, rules 20 degrees of Leo to 20 degrees of Virgo, and the dates are August 12 to September 11. I think the idea of this information is if you want to, as an example, use a significator, you can do that by your birthday or if you know the degree of your sun in your astrology chart. I don't want to make this too complex, but I know as an example, my sun sits at 29 degrees Scorpio, so I could use the Knight of Discs because that would represent me. But I'm sure that there are many other uses for that information, excuse me, in this deck. And just to finish off, down the bottom here, we have the ruling square. They call that the ruling square from the Tablet of Union. As I mentioned before, that is a Tatwa meditation symbol. And then the tablet, it's called that sub-angle or a subsection of the larger tablet that you saw here. So other than the artwork, again, I'll just show you quickly if you want to see. Queen and Queen. So the colours are nice and bright. I'm presuming these colours are representative of, like as an example in Rider-Waite, the yellow means consciousness or ego consciousness, the mind, thinking. Obviously also it's representing elements, but I really do hope that there is decent meaning around this colour work so I can love them a little more. Sorry, I might be holding that too far from the camera. So if you want any further close-ups, let me know just in case I'm not doing a very good job here. I'll just leave the aces there. And of course, last but not least, we go on to the minor. Again, some of the artwork is just a little bit unusual. The Two of Cups, I mean, of course, I get it. Firm and fruity. You know, 2 sundaes. It's delightful. It's lovely. It's yummy. There's the Two of Cups. 3. Cute. And then, you know, the rest go through a normal kind of pips style. You want 4 cups, you want 5 cups, you want 6 cups, that's what you get. This one has Scorpio in the center. So again, it will be interesting to find out a little bit more why this particular card. Apple Martini, anybody? I just think how unusual. Why is this one in, like the 7 is in a martini glass and the rest of them are not? How funny. I do like this. I like the meaning behind the 2 of Wands rubbing 2 sticks together to make fire. That's cool. The rest, again, look, I won't kind of do every one because this will go on and on forever. Let's see if I can find... I mean, 6 of Wands, that's cool. I mean, you're still, you know, building in the 5 and trying to sort it all out. How's it going to work with the 6 of Wands, that little victory? Oh, wow, they're all standing up by themselves. Looking good. We've made a pentacle out of the 7. With the 8, the energy is certainly ready to zoom off in all different directions. 9 and 10, we might have just rubbed those sticks together a little bit too hard. Uh-oh. So that's that. Swords, same principle. Interesting how the 2 of Swords, blue. The 3, brown. We get the message. Going on. This is a shocker. The 9 of Swords. Very, very harsh message there. That's probably the strongest 9 of Swords I have ever witnessed. Hard to take. However, the interesting thing, I like the 10. The swords are bent, having been used for goodness knows what, but at least they're not attached to anything. They're just now lying on the ground. There is hope. Mind you, she's probably in the emergency ward right now. And discs, there's some of the images for the discs are quite nice. Probably the best out of the lot as far as just, you know, your visual pleasure. And of course, the 10 of discs, we end up with the Tree of Life. So just briefly with these guys, I'll just hold a couple up here for you. Again, symbology everywhere. The suits represent fire, earth, air, water as a group, and also spirit. And the spirit is the aces. So again, fire, earth, air, water come through in these cards, the 2 through to the 10, and the ace brings about spirit. So that's what he was saying, is they're together, yet they're separate. Each suit correlates to a letter of the tetragrammaton, that's called, isn't it? The tetragrammaton, the great 4-letter name of God. You know, that YHVH. I've heard it pronounced Yahweh. I've heard it pronounced Yohewahe, but I think you kind of understand. But as they say, it's commonly pronounced Jehovah. So each letter and suit also represents one of the 4 Kabbalistic worlds. So that's what I mean. You might look at these images and go, yeah, big deal. Not when you've got, you know, beautifully illustrated decks. I mean, gosh, there's a list of them. I won't even get started. But at the same time, I just think once you understand what's going on down here, it's going to be a very, very interesting journey. Here again, on the outside of this circle here is the seal. And on the inside, it's the symbol of the actual angel or energy that you are calling in. And as you can see, also there are some key words at the bottom of every card. Hopefully that's focusing. Material gain, earthly power at the base there. As an example, the 3 of Swords, sorrow, and it's ruled by Saturn in Libra. Saturn does represent loneliness and isolation. And depression, the 10 of Wands, which is also ruled by Saturn. Saturn does represent restrictions and responsibility. The 3 of Discs, material works. So, you know, we're on our way. We're getting somewhere. We've got something to work with. The 4 of Swords, rest from strife after the 3. That was hard work. Let's stop and contemplate for a moment. So, all in all, this deck, it's not just a tarot deck. It incorporates 2 of the most popular and widely practiced varieties of Kabbalah-based magic. And that is, this is coming from the book he writes, the Enochian Magic of Dr. John Dee and Goetia, the invocation of angels, demons and spirits. As I say, I don't plan on inviting anything dark, nasty and evil. However, I think perhaps that's the whole point. You just have to call in, well, actually, I was just going to say you just have to call in every aspect of yourself, but I shouldn't say that. That's being a little bit naive because I don't have the book yet. But I just got that feeling from this little white book that he's saying, you know, even though there are specific names for, let's call them the angels, actually they're written, sorry, they are written actually right here. Let's see if I can, this might be easier to see on this card here and here. So I imagine the book is about understanding who that angel is and calling upon it. So we do have conscious choice in this goetic practice, no doubt. But at the same time, I guess there's not much choice in just going fairies and dolphins on yourself if you really want to get down to the tin tacks and bring up any darker energies that need to be addressed. And especially for anyone out there who is a Capricorn, that's exactly what this period of time is about while Pluto is in your sign. It's a very long journey. Pluto is so far from the sun. He does tend to hang around one sign anywhere between 15 and 24 years. So no one will understand, or many people will never understand what Capricorns are going through now and what Sagittarians went through before, etc. So I think if you're a Capricorn, my goodness me, this would be an amazing deck for you to have. Call up those, you know, shadow side. It's like this is shadow work on steroids, and it's all about helping you help you. So I hope you enjoyed this reveal, the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic by Lonmilo Duquette. Quite a work, I think. A box of goodies. By the way, the box it's a normal box, but it's not too bad at all. Even like the cards, they're not thick, but they've got this great little semi-gloss. It's slightly waxy, but not a wax finish. It's hard to describe, but it's like a semi-gloss little film, and I think it gives it a lot of durability because of that. I mean, you wouldn't want to treat it rough, but who would treat their beautiful cards roughly? So I think, considering it's bendy, but it's got quite a bit of strength and durability due to this coating. So not bad at all. If you wanted to store them in here, I think you could easily do it. So that's that for now. Again, have a wonderful day, and I look forward to chatting again with you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.